Beneath the desolate Texas desert, something ancient and malevolent stirs, and for decades every whisper of this buried truth was dismissed as delusion, until a cluster of recent field reports began screaming of impossible geological formations and bizarre energetic signatures radiating from beneath the sand, forcing investigators, researchers, and frightened locals to question whether these anomalies were natural at all or part of a much deeper, long-hidden design. The first true spark of this mystery ignited when an amateur geologist named David Keller, a quiet man with a lifelong fascination for strange rocks, ventured into a remote stretch of West Texas terrain in late 2024, seeking nothing more than rare mineral samples, but returning instead with the kind of evidence that rewrites the rules of geology entirely. He claimed he had found something the desert should not have been able to form: massive stone slabs buried just inches below the surface, arranged not randomly but in immaculate geometric precision, as if deliberately placed there by a patient, meticulous hand thousands of years ago. His voice trembled in the interview, describing perfect 90-degree angles carved into material that did not match any local mineral composition, and samples he collected later showed traces of a crystalline alloy not naturally occurring anywhere on Earth. When Keller returned days later to collect more evidence, he found the location violently disturbed, the sand overturned, the formation buried again as if the desert itself had swallowed its secret. And yet the whispers didn't stop. In the months that followed, more people reported feeling deep vibrations under the sand, soft at first, like distant thunder, then growing into rhythmic pulses that sounded almost mechanical when amplified through recording equipment. Ranchers described livestock acting strangely near certain patches of land, refusing to cross areas where nothing visibly existed, while hikers reported the ground shifting subtly beneath their feet, as if a faint hum passed through the soil. Scientists who examined these claims labeled them misinterpretations, illusions caused by heat or fatigue, but those who lived near the desert insisted something was moving, breathing, or waiting beneath the surface. Amid these accounts, mysterious energy readings began surfacing in online geology forums: irregular electromagnetic spikes captured on handheld sensors, sudden shifts in magnetic fields, and momentary interference that caused drones to malfunction and compasses to spin uncontrollably. These weren't random flukes. They occurred in the same 20-mile radius in West Texas, always at night, and always with the same odd signature, something that didn't match any known natural source. Locals who had grown up near these regions began sharing forgotten stories passed down by their grandparents, tales of travelers who vanished without a trace after wandering too far into the flatlands, legends of ancient thunder beings buried in the earth, and superstitions about never digging too deep because the soil remembers. Whether folklore or warning, the stories blurred with the new scientific reports until the whole region felt like a giant trapdoor waiting to snap open. As we continue deeper, the question becomes inescapable. If these anomalies aren't random accidents of nature, then who or what placed them beneath the Texas desert, and why has this secret remained buried until now? When the earliest anomalies were quietly recorded, most experts dismissed them as measurement errors, but by mid-2025, the volume and consistency of the reports forced even skeptics to acknowledge that something was profoundly wrong beneath the Texas desert. And as independent researchers began gathering physical evidence, the mystery only deepened until it became clear that the land was deliberately hiding something far older and far more advanced than anything currently known. Investigators uncovered geometric tunnels cut deep into bedrock, perfectly smooth, machine-like, and defying every known geological formation rule. Yet every attempt to scan them revealed only voids or echoes that suggested the interior walls absorbed sound rather than reflected it. Small metallic fragments pulled from the same locations baffled laboratories. Their composition blended iron, silicon, and an unknown crystalline material in ratios not found anywhere in North America. Even stranger, several pieces emitted weak but stable electromagnetic signatures long after removal from the site, as if they were remnants of a broken machine that had once served a purpose we no longer understand. Then came the energy signatures, bursts of electromagnetic activity rising from the ground at consistent intervals, always spaced roughly 37 minutes apart, pulsing like a heartbeat. Sensitive audio equipment translated these bursts into distorted, rhythmic patterns, eerily similar to coded transmissions, When one team of graduate researchers attempted to triangulate the source, they discovered the pulses originated from a single centralized point, nearly 2,000 feet beneath the ground, far deeper than any natural cave system or abandoned infrastructure. Attempts to drill or probe deeper were blocked by an inexplicable interference that caused machinery to malfunction or abruptly power down. Even satellites detected faint thermal anomalies across select stretches of desert, though the ground itself showed no visible heat or disturbance. Despite all this, official geological agencies issued firm statements claiming the anomalies were caused by equipment calibration errors, even when dozens of independent labs produced identical results. But the deeper researchers dug, the more the Texas desert behaved like a living thing, subtly adjusting itself to conceal whatever lay within. Ground-penetrating radar would work perfectly on one day and produce only static the next. Markers placed on the soil to measure micro-movements disappeared overnight, replaced by smooth, untouched sand. Cameras set to record in the desert at night were found hours later with their memory cards wiped clean, leaving nothing but corrupted files filled with unreadable symbols. Those symbols, when analyzed, followed a repeating sequence of pattern not naturally produced by malfunctioning hardware. Some theorized that the formations and energy signatures were remnants of an ancient civilization, far older than any currently known, a forgotten society whose technology rivaled modern science. Others proposed an extraterrestrial explanation, arguing that the precision, materials, and interference patterns aligned with known descriptions of unidentified aerial phenomena. But the darkest theory suggested the anomalies were not remnants at all. They were active, waiting, and responding to the growing number of people who dared investigate. Just as this theory gained momentum, several researchers involved in early investigations reported strange symptoms. Vivid dreams of underground cities, a constant ringing in the ears when near desert sites, and a persistent feeling of being watched even in broad daylight. Whether psychological or environmental, the effects were undeniable. The Texas desert was no longer merely a landscape, it was an intelligence, a guardian of something buried beneath, and every attempt to uncover its secrets seemed to trigger a subtle shift, like a warning whispered through the sand. As these anomalies gained attention, a disturbing pattern emerged. Those who investigated too deeply found themselves confronted not only by the desert's unnatural resistance, but by a human force equally determined to silence the truth. And as reports of suppression grew, it became painfully clear that whatever lies beneath Texas is not merely unknown, it is protected. Researchers recount receiving sudden, unexplained warnings urging them to abandon their work. Emails vanished from inboxes. Field data was wiped from cloud storage, and in several cases, entire research sites were dismantled overnight by unidentified personnel who left no traces behind. One whistleblower claimed that she received a non-disclosure order from a federal office that, upon later verification, did not officially exist. Another reported that after publicly mentioning energy pulses, his funding was revoked within hours, and his laboratory access permanently restricted. Local news outlets attempting to cover the anomalies discovered their footage repeatedly flagged or removed due to technical issues, and journalists who visited the desert described unmarked vehicles observing them from a distance. Why such secrecy? What force, government or otherwise, benefits from burying the truth beneath miles of sand? Some believe the anomalies are too disruptive to current scientific understanding, capable of rewriting the timeline of human civilization and challenging foundational geological theories. Others argue that the buried structures represent classified technologies, something reverse-engineered long ago and now concealed to prevent public awareness. But the most unsettling theory suggests collaboration between human institutions and a non-human intelligence, with both having a vested interest in keeping whatever lies underground hidden from the world. Despite all attempts at suppression, the anomalies persist, growing stronger, more frequent, and harder to ignore. The desert seems almost restless, as if centuries of forced silence are beginning to crack. Today we stand before a vast unanswered question. What purpose do these structures serve, and why are they awakening now? Could they be remnants of a forgotten civilization waiting to be rediscovered, ancient machines lying dormant beneath the sand, or something alive, something watching from below? And if the truth were revealed, how would it reshape our understanding of history, science, and humanity's place in the universe? In the end, only one thing is clear. These mysteries cannot remain buried forever. The desert may guard its secrets, but time, curiosity, and human determination will eventually pierce its silence. And so, to everyone watching, this investigation is far from over. If you have witnessed anything strange in the Texas region or anywhere else, share your experience in the comments below. Your story might be the missing piece that exposes the truth. Join this growing community of seekers, truth hunters, and investigators. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and stay with us as we continue to uncover the hidden realities that others want to keep buried. The desert is whispering, the anomalies are calling, and together we will unearth the truth.